These are three true feeling stories about snowstorms that don't let you leave.
The storm that knew my name. The snow started falling before I realized I was lost. At first, it was gentle, soft flakes drifting sideways under my headlights, like ash from a dying fire. The road was empty, swallowed by pine trees on both sides, their branches bending inward as if they were trying to listen. I checked my phone. No signal, no GPS, battery at 12%. That's when the wind hit. It didn't howl, it screamed. The snow thickened instantly, turning the world into a white wall. My headlights reflected back at me, blinding, useless. I slowed to a crawl, hands clenched so tight around the steering wheel my fingers went numb. Then the road disappeared. Not gradually, it was just gone. The car lurched as the tires rolled into nothing but snow and ice. I slammed the brakes and felt the sickening slide before everything stopped. Silence. The engine coughed once, then died. I tried the ignition again. Nothing. The wind came back, harder now, rattling the car like something angry was shaking it. Snow piled against the windows so fast it felt alive, pressing, crawling upward. That's when I saw the footprints. They appeared beside my driver's side door. Bare feet, perfectly shaped, pressed deep into the snow, leading away from the car and vanishing into the storm. I hadn't opened the door. I hadn't stepped outside. My breath fogged the windshield as I stared at them, heart pounding so loud I swore it echoed. I told myself it was stress, hallucination, fear doing what fear does best. Then something knocked on the roof. 3 slow taps. Tap, tap, tap. I froze. Another knock came, this time on my window. Not hard, not urgent, polite. I turned my head inch by inch. Nothing was there, but the knocking continued, sliding across the glass as if fingers were dragging across it, searching for a handle. I locked the doors. The sound stopped. For a moment, there was only the storm again. Then my radio turned on. Static burst through the speakers, loud enough to make me flinch. I hadn't touched it. The dial spun by itself, clicking through empty channels until a voice broke through the noise. Low, crackling, too close. You shouldn't sleep out there. My stomach dropped. Hello? I said, immediately hating how small my voice sounded. Static. Then, you'll freeze. The radio clicked off. That's when I noticed the fog on the inside of the windows wasn't mine anymore. New breath marks appeared, slow, deliberate clouds forming on the passenger side glass. Someone was sitting there. I screamed and slammed my elbow into the seat beside me. Empty. The fog fogged again. Words were traced into it, letter by letter, as if an invisible finger was writing, "Let me in." The temperature dropped so fast my teeth started chattering violently. Frost crept along the edges of the windshield, spiderwebbing inward. My phone buzzed in my hand. A text message from an unknown number. Why did you stop? I stared at it, panic blurring my vision. Another message appeared. You were almost home. My phone screen dimmed, and then the battery died. The storm suddenly stopped. No wind, no snow, just a dead, crushing silence. I opened my door. Cold stabbed into my lungs instantly. The world outside was wrong. The trees stood perfectly still, their branches heavy with snow that never fell. The sky was black, starless, like an unblinking eye. The footprints were gone. Instead, there was a trail of drag marks leading away from my car, like something had been pulled across the snow. I followed them. I don't know why. Every step felt heavier than the last, like the cold was trying to pin me in place. The drag marks ended at a shape half buried in snow. A car. My car. Crashed, mangled, windows shattered outward. Inside it was me. My body slumped over the wheel, eyes open, lips blue, skin dusted with frost. Behind me, something inhaled. Warm breath brushed my ear. You already stayed. Now you have to finish freezing. The storm came back all at once, and I understood the truth too late. I was never lost. I was kept.
The storm locked the doors. The snow wasn't supposed to be this bad. The forecast said heavy flurries. By midnight, my house was buried up to the windows, the world outside erased into white. The power went out at 11:47 p.m., cutting the house into pieces of shadow lit only by my phone screen. I told myself it was fine. I had food, I had heat, at least for now. I had locks. Then, something tried the front door. Not a bang, not a kick, just the soft rattle of the handle. I froze in the hallway, phone light trembling in my hand. The sound stopped, and for a moment I laughed quietly at myself. The wind, just the wind. Then the deadbolt turned. It didn't unlock, it just tested itself. Once, twice. I backed away, heart hammering, and checked the windows. Snow pressed against the glass like insulation, sealing me in. I couldn't see the yard anymore, just a solid white wall. A knock came from upstairs. 3 taps from inside the house. I stood there, listening, every nerve screaming. The house was small, 1 floor, 1 attic I never used. Another knock, closer this time. The temperature dropped, not outside, inside. My breath fogged the air as if the house itself was exhaling cold. My phone buzzed. Emergency alert. Do not open your door for anyone. Below it, another message appeared. They will sound like someone you know. Right on cue, my mother's voice called from the living room. Hey, it's freezing out here. I stared down the dark hallway. I hadn't heard the door open. I hadn't heard footsteps, but the voice was perfect, warm, worried, familiar. Let me in, it said softly. I can't feel my hands. I covered my mouth to stop myself from answering. The voice sighed. Okay, it said. Then I'll come to you. Footsteps moved above me, slow and deliberate, pacing from room to room. I ran into the kitchen and shoved a chair under the back door handle, my hands shaking so badly I dropped my phone. The screen cracked. The lights flickered on for half a second, and in that flash, I saw wet footprints leading from the hallway to the stairs. They were melting. The footsteps stopped outside the kitchen door. A shadow slid beneath it. Something pressed its face against the wood, stretching the shape of it. Too long, too thin. I heard bones pop softly as it smiled. Why are you hiding? It asked, in my own voice. The house groaned as the storm worsened, snow piling against the walls. The windows began to bend inward, glass creaking under the pressure. Cold poured through the seams like water. My phone buzzed again. We are running out of time. Another message followed. It's already inside. The kitchen door handle began to turn. I ran to the basement and slammed the door behind me, locking it just as something hit it from the other side, hard enough to shake dust from the ceiling. The basement was unfinished,
concrete and pipes, the smell of cold earth filling my lungs. The furnace was off, the cold wrapped around me instantly. From the darkness behind the stairs, I heard breathing, slow, patient. A final message lit up my phone. The house will not save you. The last thing I felt was warmth, arms around me, almost gentle, as the storm outside buried the house completely. In the morning, they found it sealed in snow, every door locked, every window intact, and no footprints anywhere near it.
The house stopped letting me sleep. The snow started before dark. By the time night fell, my street was gone. No road, no mailboxes, just white swallowing everything. The storm muted sound so completely that even the wind felt distant, like it was happening somewhere else. Inside, the house creaked as it settled. Old wood, old pipes, normal sounds, until they weren't. At 2:13 a.m., every clock in the house stopped. The microwave froze at 2:13. The stove display went dark. My phone died at 62% without warning. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, listening. That's when I heard someone walk down the hallway. Slow footsteps, bare feet, the soft stick of skin on wood. I didn't move. The steps stopped outside my bedroom door. Someone stood there long enough for the floorboards to sigh under their weight. Then they whispered my name. Not loudly, not urgently, like they didn't want to wake anyone else in the house. My door handle turned. I hadn't locked it. The door opened an inch. Cold air slid across my face, carrying the smell of snow and something older, damp, metallic, wrong. A shape filled the gap, blocking the hallway light. "Go back to sleep," it said. "You're dreaming." The door closed. I lay there shaking, counting my breaths until morning light finally bled through the blinds. The storm hadn't stopped. It had grown. Snow pressed against the windows, creeping higher than it should. When I tried the front door, it wouldn't budge. Not frozen, held. The house felt smaller, hallways shorter, ceilings lower. At noon, I heard movement in the walls, scraping, slow shifting, like something turning over in a tight space. The vents began to breathe cold air, even though the heat was on. I found handprints on the inside of the attic door. They were pressed outward, like something had been trying to escape the house, or me. As night came again, the footsteps returned, closer now, heavier. They moved room to room, opening drawers, tapping on walls, learning the shape of the place, learning me. I hid in the bathroom, knees to my chest, staring at the mirror. My reflection blinked when I didn't. It smiled a half second too late. "Please," it said from behind the glass, "I need to stay warm." The lights flickered out. In the dark, the house settled around us. Something lay down beside me, cold at first, then slowly warming, matching my breathing. Outside, the storm erased the last edges of the house. Inside, it learned how to live like me.